Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hardcore Heroes.
All right.
Okay. I think I do just need to change the background because we are no longer in a town. We are heading out onto the open ocean.
Yeah, we're on a journey now.
Mm-hmm. So we want... What?
I seem to recall that Georg's library was significantly larger than Aldrich's, right?
Perhaps. I wouldn't be surprised if Georg had a larger library than Aldrich. Yeah. Are you...
Maybe. Well, I'm just thinking about whether I need to go to Misty Rapids or not.
Yeah.
Fine. See if Georg's statue's still there.
Remember, it's not the size of the library, it's what you do with it that matters.
Yeah, but I need level 5 spells, so it's got to be pretty big.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's one other thing. We need to talk about potions as well, right? Don't I get potion recipes at level 9?
Maybe, but if so, this is not the right... We'll deal with it after this voyage, perhaps.
Yeah. No, I don't mean that.
Yeah.
About that. Okay, so on the ship, sailing away.
Mm-hmm.
I might just rejig my spells while you...
Sure, so my question for you is, this voyage is going to take many days. I don't have an exact head count. I think it's like 5 or 6 days to do this. So what do you do? Because you've got all your gear with you. Are you forever walking around with all of your gear strapped to and your backpack on? No?
No, I don't think so.
Are you spending your time below decks, above deck, or talking to the people? How do you operate?
I talk to the people. Yeah, definitely. And sorry, I was just looking at my spells. I'm seeing if I've got any other spells to learn. I think I've still got a couple more that I can learn. So maybe I do spend some time learning spells while I'm on here. But generally, I mean, I don't keep myself to myself, but I will walk around with my staff and in my wizard robes. I mean, that's how I roll, right? So I'm not gonna dress down for these sailors. But we're all here for me, so I don't mind talking to them a little bit if they want to ask questions about where we're going.
Yeah, most of them don't ask questions about where they're going. They seem to kind of maybe be practiced at this sort of work where you're going somewhere you know you're not supposed to go, so you just don't ask questions. But they're a friendly lot. They've heard that your father was a seaborne merchant and ask you his name at some point. One of the sailors here.
Ah, yes. Well, his name was... Jarrett.
Let's give them a charisma check, see if anyone had ever known your father. No. Yes, one of the sailors here kind of nods up and down and goes, I knew a Jarrett once, out of Eridon.
Yeah, that's probably the guy out of Shipwreck.
Maybe. We never worked together, but I'd seen him before. Had a couple of drinks in a pub in Redport with him, or something around there.
He spent a lot of time in Redport. It's
yeah. Are you from Redport, then?
I'm not from Redport, no. But I spent time there.
Okay.
Can't go back, unfortunately.
Why not?
Got myself in some bother.
Well, you're only missing the finest stock district in all of Arcadia.
It is pretty great. I wonder if they'd still remember me with all the stuff that's going on now. But probably not.
Faces are easily forgettable. You stay away for a year and everyone kind of forgets that you're a wanted man. So,
yeah. That's the plan. Give it a year. Maybe I'll go back. There's a lot of good merchants there, so it's a good place to pick up exotic goods. So...
Alright, so let's make some rolls for the first few days of your voyage here. The first day is actually wonderful weather. You've got winds blowing to the east that pull your ship along. As I said before, it's got 2 masts, but it's got a fairly small crew. So there's no oar power. It's entirely at the mercy of the winds. Fortunately, you have a savvy captain who can tack well into it. And you guys make good progress on the first day.
So do we end up
Go ahead.
at the end of the first day? Where do we end up? Can I see into like Newport or something?
No. At the end of the first day, you're probably somewhere like this, 50 some miles from Bontheris.
All right. Okay.
So definitely not to Newport yet. Newport.
It's gonna be a while. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be about a week or so to get there. The second day is not so great. The winds are more or less directly against you. They've just done a complete 180. This area out here between Drekis and Eridon, this little awkward thing here, often has quickly changing winds that go usually east-west or to the east and then sometimes back to the west, but it fluctuates very rapidly in here.
You know what, actually, while we're going past this area and he's telling me about the winds, right, I asked him about the islands to the south of here between, Drakis, between Eridon and Caledonia.
The Talons?
Yeah.
Well, legend has it, 1,500 some years ago, they weren't islands. It was a single island out there, a large one at that. But when the gods in their infinite wisdom and mercy saw fit to destroy the world and split it apart, they sunk the islands well beneath the surface, and only the tippy tops of their mountains stick out above. On top of that, they seem to be somehow affected by that Caledonian curse to the south, and are frozen over. Now, I've never been myself. They say it's dangerous there. Mountains have sunk. There are all sorts of weird rock sticking up here and there, and dozens of smaller islands that ain't no bigger than a ship, just kind of lurking right above the waves. So it's a dangerous region, to be sure. And I think there ain't nothing valuable down there at all.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's interesting, though.
Yeah.
Best sticking to the mainland, I think.
You know how sailors talk, but they say that maybe there's a white dragon that lives on those islands.
Really?
Well, that's what they say, but sailors like to talk. I wouldn't believe every little bit of scuttlebutt that I've heard.
Well, there's more dragons around these parts than you'd like to believe.
Nasty creatures.
Well, never mind.
The third day goes fairly well. You guys sail along, and you find yourself just south of Matava.
This is Matava, is it?
Yeah, it's this lovely little section of land. You can see the forest that one of the sailors will tell you is called the undergrowth. It's fairly light and sparse, but with fairly large trees, hundreds of feet tall, but, fairly spread out and separated.
I ask him, is this the kingdom where there's said to be a green dragon?
Yeah, that's over in the overgrowth. Zorthis is the name.
Oh, he's on the coast, is he?
Yep. Don't worry, though. This green dragon's had his wings damaged or ripped right off or cut off at the shoulder, depending on which version of the story you like to believe, and is landbound, stuck to a forest, can't fly, and needs the cover of the trees to keep himself alive. Too many people want him dead.
Does it rule over Matava, or does it keep to itself?
Keeps to itself. There's this town next to the overgrowth called Valara. We'll sail right past it.
Yeah.
They've got some walls they've built up and some ballista and all sorts of fancy siege equipment there to keep the dragon at bay, and it just sticks in the forest. It's blocked in by the river, which has got various batteries of artillery on the other side, and ocean to the south, hill giants to the north. I suppose it could wander into Eridon, but to what effect?
Yeah, I guess that's those green dragons, they like forests, so it probably doesn't want to leave its forest.
Yeah, it's also been there thousands of years or so,
Yeah.
It's an old dragon. Older than anyone, probably any other living creature out here.
You think? Maybe not. There's ancient things around these parts.
Well, hopefully we won't be running into nothing ancient.
Yeah, we won't be going too close to anything like that.
Yeah. The fourth day, you make some decent progress. Not so great. The winds are a little bit lighter.
Do you know, actually, just to interrupt on that thought, I haven't had my mind probed by what I presume to be the Shadow Dragon recently, have I?
No.
Okay, good.
But you are going to be going
I'm going to be near it,
fairly
yes.
close to its home.
And it probably knows that there's no people left in Shipwreck. Maybe it's best we get in and out of Shipwreck pretty quick. I think to myself that evening. Well, let's talk about dragons.
Yeah. The fourth day brings you sort of past New Fort, and on the morning of the fifth day, as you're coming up from the decks, probably a little bit later than the rest of the sailors who have to get up at crack of dawn and go to work directly.
Yeah.
You hear some commotion from the upper decks, and as you pull yourself up, there's your captain.
Yeah.
Looking through a spyglass behind you, and when he hears you approach, he pulls down the glass and looks at you and kind of shakes his head and goes, "Well, back there I see about 6 galleys.
Oh.
6 Dracissian galleys."
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay, isn't it? We'll keep out of their way. We're ahead of them, right?
We're ahead of them, but you know, we only have the power of the wind. They've got huge batteries of oars, but we ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not sure where these ones are going, so hopefully they'll just pass us, or they'll turn before they get to us, or we'll just pick up wind and get away.
They're probably going to Newfort, right? So if we can get past Valara, we should be able to, get out into the open sea before, and then they'll turn off.
I hope so. And you guys continue sailing. Sure enough, the fleet splits. Half of the galleys head toward Newfort. The other half continue along the same path as you. And by that evening, you find yourself fairly close to them. They're within sight, but they have to stop rowing, or they choose to stop rowing at night in these waters around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I keep my cool. I think. I hope that they're not going to Shipwreck and that they're going to Whiteshore. But.
Okay. The next morning. Oh, go ahead.
Was Whiteshore a bigger town than Shipwreck?
Ooh, I don't know off the top of my head. Let me take a look at our demographics of Eridon. Split County. Whiteshore has a population of 4,700. Shirebrook has a population of 6,000. So
Shirebrook's the bigger town.
Shirebrook is the bigger town. Whiteshore has more outlying villages than Shirebrook. So maybe if you include nearby villages.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. There's the option of telling them to pull into the Lost Coast, and then I could try and fly to Shirebrook to get ahead of them, but
Yeah.
I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. All right. That next morning comes, and as the sun comes up and you hurry out of your bunks, you can see that the fleet is upon you. They've got these, they're tall ships with two decks of oarmen just pulling these galleys forward, hungrily eating up the water with each stroke and pushing it past them. And your ship finds itself on the kind of actually trapped between some of these galleys. One of them's on your left side, one of them's behind you on your right. There's a few more coming. And the sailors on your ship are kind of whistling and waving to the sailors on their ships as you guys are passing.
All right, but they're not causing us any trouble, right? We're all right.
No, there's been no trouble so far, but you can see the captain nervously pacing back and forth.
I say to him, don't worry, we can handle him if it comes to that.
What do you mean?
I'm just
Handle
joking.
them.
I'm just joking, friend. So cheer up. Nothing to worry about. I'm sure they're just doing their official duty.
I'm sure it's nothing to be concerned by, but
If
you don't get to
anything
be
happens,
a long-lived, successful captain by not being concerned.
very well. I'll take responsibility if we get in trouble.
Sure. The ships begin to sail around you. It's a slowish process. And that's when you can feel the boat begin to rock, like turbulence on a plane. This is something that you don't really have on a ship unless it's in really rough seas, and even then it's slow, large, drastic switches. This is more of like the boat starts floundering and you start getting rocked from side to side very quickly.
Okay, so standing on the deck to say to the captain, like, what's going on?
The captain runs to the side, looks over, and gasps in fright.
What is it?
You can see from your position, not next to you, but like, a little bit out next to the galley over there and over there, you can see that the sea is bubbling as if it's carbonated by something.
Uh-oh. I cast Polymorph Self on myself real quick.
Okay, but all of your gear is down below, your books, all your fun stuff.
Okay, well I run down below then.
Okay. You book it down below to grab your gear as you hear the shouts and cries of soldiers above, and the ship gives a big lurch. Give me a dex check.
Dex. Okay. 26.
All right. Despite the rocking of the ship, you manage to keep your footing and get down the hallway to your area. You grab your books, you grab your gear, toss it on.
I cast Polymorph Self then.
What are you polymorphing yourself into?
Nothing currently, but I just get it cast, so it lasts for 3 hours. So.
Wonderful. Okay. You polymorph yourself into nothing, but the spell's ready to go at a moment's notice. And you make your way back upstairs when the ship gives a lurch, a huge lurch, and the floor drops out beneath you by like 4 or 5 feet. And you just tumble to the deck below, which I guess is more or less at the same level as you. And that's when the cries from above get really bad and huge torrents of water begin to pour into the ship.
All right, so I'm running up to the deck. I want to try and help.
Yeah.
So.
You're coming up the deck as it's just like tons of water coming down. A sailor gets swept in with you as well. Give me a strength check to pull yourself up despite the flow of water from above.
Okay. 24. We're on board here.
Yes. You pull yourself onto the surface of the ship, and you see that it is the bow is partially underwater. The water level's creeping up. Waves are sloshing onto you. There's still this carbonation kind of going all over the place. The galley on your left side is cracked and in half with a huge tentacle wrapped all the way around the front of the ship.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I will shift into a bird and I get a seagull and fly into the air and try and get a better view of what's going on.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to want you to roll me initiative on that before we just hop to it.
Okay. Initiative on... Let's look it up for this. Well, what would it be to just shift?
Whatever innate spell ability would be... Do you have the screen?
Maybe like 1, right?
Probably something like that.
Because polymorph itself is 4, but...
Let's see. Innate spell ability is 3.
Okay.
So we'll use innate spell ability.
4.
Oh, wonderful. That's fantastic. Okay, where's the... Alright. Let me get some initiative rolls over here. Okay, you go at 4, so that is awkward. So tying with you is the first thing to go. So you begin to polymorph yourself into a bird as one of these, tentacle-y thingies pops out of the water and comes to smash on your deck. So you polymorph and it gets to hit you at the same time.
Me or the ship, though?
Well, it's coming in your direction. Does a 14 hit you?
That's my AC.
Ooh. The tentacle comes and I guess it hits you as you're polymorphing into a bird.
I guess so.
So Bird Malakai gets like smashed onto the deck and spins across it, wings out, covered in water, and you're gonna take yourself
Hopefully not.
10 points of damage.
All right, well that hurt, but I'm still alive.
We're still alive. And with that, you can see the few sailors that are still on your ship. Some of them are trying to run down below decks. Some of them are diving into the water, just praying for something. Others are still desperately trying to righten the ship and get in tow. But you can see the galleys around you are not in great shape.
Yeah.
You still have movement left over.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Take off into the air.
Okay.
Try and see if I can see the body of this thing.
Sure. For such terrible events, it's surprisingly bright and sunny out, not a cloud in the sky, and as you lift up, you can see that there's like a 200 or 300 foot diameter area that's just like bubbling water, and two tentacles so far, one coming and wrapping around the galley on the left side of the ship, the other has come up and slapped down on top of your ship as well. And your ship is beginning to not quite sink, but it's getting tilted and sort of dragged towards the water.
So the tentacles, like if I had to guess how big this thing is it like gargantuan, absolutely incredible?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Definitely
bigger than a dragon. Yeah.
Dragon-sized, larger. I mean, we're talking gargantuan-sized creature.
Okay, so the other galleys, it's destroyed one of them.
Yes, the other ones are splitting and trying to go around it, but it's hard to change direction on such a large ship so quickly.
But does it look like they're fleeing, or does it look like they're trying to fight?
I mean, the only way to go is forward. So they're still going forward. The people on the ships are trying to arm themselves with bows, or those that can are. But you know, what are bows going to do against something that's underwater?
What does it? Can I see? Oh, I can see the tentacles.
You can see
if I had to guess how long the tentacles were. Like
one of them
of
is
feet.
Definitely at least 80 feet.
Okay,
but that's...
So they're not magic missile range.
Well, you can't
Right.
cast magic missile as a bird anyway, so...
But I count as an imp. Right.
You could as an imp.
So it's not magic missile range, probably 150 yards, 450 feet.
The tentacles are within range of you. Yes.
No, but sorry, I mean, if I was 450 feet into the air, I wouldn't be in danger of getting hit by the tentacles.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Probably not, but who knows, you know?
Sure, so I go like 400 feet up.
All right,
Shift
how
it
far
to
can
it.
you go in this round? Because I'm going to want to take it round by round here.
Okay, depends on the flight speed of a seagull. I'd argue it's a seabird, so it should be proficient at flying in sea.
Sure, so 450 feet, no problem. 450 yards up is a problem, though.
Yeah, 450 feet is fine. Go
Okay.
up. Ooh, and then oh no, I already shifted this round, so I'm gonna try and scare it off.
Okay.
Next round then.
All right, so that round, the first galley gets their volley. And gets a few arrows sticking into some of these tentacles. Not a lot. Most of them miss or bounce off the rubbery hides. A few soldiers come up with axes and start trying to hack at these things. And we'll roll initiative for the next round.
Okay.
God, it rolls another one.
It's quick. Casting time 1. Nice. Alright. 10 this time though.
All right. The tentacle that's already around your ship lets go, rises up, and kind of slaps against the side of the ship with the archers on it and the axemen on it, sending sailors flying into the water. The tentacle that's already on that ship and sort of breaking it in half gives it a further tug, and does not rip the ship in half yet. Just kind of like creaks it a little bit further, but without doing any more substantial damage. And it is your turn.
Alright, so I have to spend this turn shifting into an imp.
Okay. You become an imp, and you're still flying.
Yep, flying, and now I have hands. And a tongue.
Okay. And the sailors will make some more attacks here. Where are my dice? Terrible rolls. I think they're mostly swept off the side. Only one of them gets any sort of effective shot off. It's an axeman down on the deck, and he's hacking into this tentacle, trying to remove it from his precious ship. You can see your captain is still at the wheel, despite the fact that your ship is now, like, you know, titanicking into the water, and that the wheel has absolutely no effect, but he's grabbing onto it for dear life, while most of his soldiers are bailing. Initiative.
Alright, I'm gonna save the ship. Save the ship. Come on. Ah, shit, 9.
You go first.
Alright, I magic missile the tentacle that's on our ship.
Alright, from maximum range, you magic missile it. Roll me some damage.
I will roll some damage. 15.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah. 5 darts spring forth from your fingers, peppering one of these tentacles, causing them to bleed slightly. Just ever so slightly.
Yeah.
When, on this round, the creature surfaces, and it is not so much a giant octopus or squid that you might have expected, but it's got this large shell on top of it, with various tentacles coming off of the sides of it. So it's almost like a hybrid between a octopus and a turtle or something.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the damage was 19. Sorry, not 15. I only had it.
Oh, yes, 19. Okay, cool. And the tentacles begin to reach out for these ships again. Oh my god, the galley is holding. The galley is staying together. Your ship is staying afloat, and the other tentacles do grab one of the nearby galleys and begin to break it into pieces. Let's get some morale checks for sailors. Fail, of course. Fail.
I think I just worked out what happened to the ships that so I show.
Fail. Alright.
Alright.
Maybe.
Next round.
Next round. Roll me some initiative.
So did it at all react to the damage I did to one tentacle?
I mean, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of arrows being flung, there's axes being hacked into it, and it's surfacing. It didn't look to target you or react to you specifically, but I think it's...
No, but I mean, I don't... my goal is to get it to let go of the ship. Did it look
no,
like
it has not let go of the ship yet.
Alright. This thing, does it have a face?
Not from the air above it. You're just looking down on top of a shell.
Alright. Go magic missile again then. 8.
Okay. That is... I need to look up my spells right now. Give me just a moment.
Not spells, ugh. Doesn't bode well.
I do quite like this battle music, actually.
Yeah. So are the galleys turning around to fight, or are the ones that are free running?
They can't turn. You know, they have to go forward under their existing momentum. You can't stop a ship like that. So they're desperately trying to go around the damage, and they are arming their people and trying to join in the fray with bows and stuff. But there's, you know, they're just going to try and get past. It looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a slow process. Naval combat is very slow. Okay, so I'm not sure how we need to do this. I need you to roll me a d20. No. Yes. Do I roll the d20 or do you roll the d20?
I don't know what it is, so...
I think technically I roll a d20. I think technically I roll a d20, right?
Alright.
Yeah. Oh boy. So this kind of long snaking head protrudes from underneath the shell and looks up in the sky towards you. Definitely in your direction, like it's looking for the source of these magic missiles that struck at it.
Yeah.
And that head kind of snakes up maybe 60 feet into the air. And all of a sudden, you are no longer an imp. You are a falling person as its dispel magic spell kind of rips through your body, depolymorphing you, and you can take your action as you're falling.
My action, it's a magic missile
or whatever that you want to do, but you're now falling because it dispels the polymorph magic around you.
Okay, well, in a split second, would Stone Skin help against falling damage?
I believe Stone Skin does help against falling damage.
Alright, so I'll switch up and cast Stone Skin.
Okay. Stone Skin. Good, because falling onto water, this is not Counter-Strike. It does hurt.
It hurts, yeah.
Okay. Magic attacks. Stone skill. Alright. So you hit the water at the end of the round, taking no damage, but losing a charge on your stone skin. You've got all of your gear with you. It's on you. What of your gear is not strapped down tightly? Would anything not be strapped down tightly? What do you have on you?
So my backpack and then just the components on my belt. So I guess they're relatively strapped down. I've got dagger in a sheath and a staff that I'm now holding.
Okay.
Rest would be... I mean, I've got a scroll case, which will be on my belt. Like, that might...
But that's tied to your belt, right? Or strapped to your belt somehow. So it seems like...
I'm holding my stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you to make me a strength check to hold on to your staff as you hit the water after falling 450 feet. No, it slips from your hand, and we'll find out what happens to it later. All right. That's the creature's turn. Oh no, it doesn't get to ship ripping. So I guess as you're falling, you see that one galley that was held before finally get ripped to pieces. You see your ship getting submerged below the water. Now it's just like the very last 20 feet of it still sticking up in the air. And the other galley that was grabbed by it is slowly beginning to bend in a way that ships should not bend.
How far am I out at sea here?
You guys are somewhere over here right now. So 15 miles? 10 miles?
Not swimmable? I don't know long distance swimming, but...
swimmable in the real world by very, very good swimmers. By very, very good swimmers.
It does say Olympic athletes in the book, but I'd question as to whether Malakai's really got a 15-mile swim in him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Why don't you roll the initiative one more time?
Am I anywhere near something I can stand on?
You are underwater.
Okay, yeah. So what's my initiative? I mean, I'm gonna float.
I guess what's your action? Just to swim for safety?
To the surface.
All right. D10 plus 3.
11.
Oh, you're fucked. All right. You're underwater. You are swimming desperately. Oh, hold on. What's your con? You can hold your breath for 1/3 your con, and if you're doing strenuous action, half of that again.
My con's 10, so 3 minutes.
So 3 minutes or a minute and a half of strenuous activity.
Yeah.
Okay. So this round is spent getting to the surface, trying to get some air. I think after a minute of swimming, you can get near to the surface, but you have a 13 on your initiative, or 11 on your initiative, so not so great for you. You feel something smaller, much smaller, wrapping around your ankles when you're still maybe 30 or 40 feet from the surface. Because, you know, you're 450 feet up and you've got stone skin now. You plunged deeply into that water.
Yeah, I can't cast spells down here though, right?
No, you cannot. But you can look down and see some sort of smaller tentacle wrapped from your ankle to your knee.
Okay, well, I draw a dagger and stab it.
Give me a roll to hit. Minus, I guess it's only -2 in the water because you've got a dagger instead of a sword or something.
So what's my non-proficiency with a dagger? What's that?
-5.
So -7. Yeah, but it's on my ankle, so I think it counts as being held, right?
Sure. So let's scrap the -2 for non-proficiency, and so it'll just be the -2 for the water, or it'll balance with it's being held. So just the -5, and you get a what, +2 for level?
+2 for level, yeah, and it's +3 dagger, so.
So flat roll.
8.
You try and scrape at it, but it's no good, and it begins to tug you down. And I think this is the point where we're just gonna fade to black for a moment, and we'll come back on the other side of our break with a little bit more of what the hell's going on with Malakai. See you guys soon.